overcasting is something that you do to prevent the unraveling edges on raw parts of the fabric. So inside of the bags or inside of a clothing doesn't turn into a stringy mess. So you need a stitch that stitches here on the fabric and then stitches off the fabric with one stitch and back and forth. Now, anytime you're working with just a single layer, which we will here, we need to use a foot with a little bit of support system. And the stitches that we are going to pick are going to talk about using foot J. Now, foot J, you'll notice, has just kind of a one toe on the left side, and that's because there's a little pin in there. That pin we're going to keep running with the edge of the fabric. And as the stitch jumps over the edge and over the pin will support the stitch. So not to curl your fabric or kind of bunch it up along the edge. So if we were just to use, let's see here, this is kind of a cotton fabric. So let's use our sewing advisor and select woven medium. And technique number 2 is overcast. So it will pick a stitch very similar to a zigzag and set the settings appropriate for us. And we see foot J is listed on here. Now, another stitch that I like to use, so I'm going to show you both once we get sewing, is stitch number 9. Stitch number 9 is a stitch that, once again, it will stitch down and then stitch over the edge, also using foot J. Let's see how to guide the fabric. When I align the fabric with the foot, we're really just following the raw edge right on the inside of the toe that's sticking out here. Once you take a few stitches, you'll see that the foot is going to guide the fabric as well as keep that stitch that goes off the edge supported from rolling down. Now, this particular stitch has multiple points to the zigzag. So it's stitching through and over to the right and then back over to the left. So that's a super fast one. All right, let me go ahead and do the rest of this side. Now keep in mind, if you stop and you take the fabric out, the last stitch is always on that pin and won't let you kind of pull to the side. Just pull the fabric out the back side of the machine. All right, and that's what you have with the stitch that's built in to the sewing advisor. Now another one that I said I liked is stitch number 9, and that's also in row 1. And it will look like this. Once again, just line the fabric up like you were. And what it's going to do is go stitch, stitch forward, and then 2 out to the side. So it kind of looks like a blanket stitch, but it's really just supporting that raw edge and making sure that it doesn't unravel anymore. Let's see what it looks like. Once again, last stitch is left on that pin, so pull it straight out the back side. There you go. So there's the second one. That's stitch number 9. And this is using the sewing advisor. And this stitch and settings will change based on your fabric that you actually choose for your project.